So this cone support video is on solving proportions. A lot of you guys are still needing a little bit of practice on this. So I'm going to do this kind of a couple different ways and see if I can get you guys comfortable. So the first one is 3k equals 4 over 5. 3 over k equals 4 over 5. And you're solving for k. So the easiest way to solve any proportion if you don't see any relationships is called the cross product. So literally you just do bottom times the opposite top equals the top times the opposite bottom as the quickest and easiest way to solve any proportional relationship. So what is this? It's going to be 4 times k is equal to 3 times 5. I would look to see if these numbers are compatible, like if I divided by 4, is there something I can cancel out over here? If there's nothing that's compatible, then just go ahead and multiply. 3 times 5 is 15, and then divide by 4 to get your answer. So it's going to be that k is equal to 4 goes into 15 3 times, which is 12, with 3 left over. So 3 and 3/4 is your answer. So here you'd write 3 space 3/4, and that's how you do it. So that's called the cross product. It's always going to work. Bottom times the opposite top equals the top times the opposite bottom. Okay, another example of solving proportion here, we have r over 5 is equal to 4 over 7. Once again, is there a relationship you see across the top or across the bottom, or even on the left-hand side or right-hand side? Because remember, the ratios have to stay the same, which basically means the relationships have to stay the same. I don't see any relationships here that I know that I'm comfortable with, so I'm just going to do the cross product. So I'm going to go boop, boop, right? And that just means that 5 times 4 must be equal to r times 7. So that means that 7r is equal to 4 times 5. Is there any compatible numbers here? No. So I'm just going to do 7r is equal to 20. And then how do you undo times by 7? Divide by 7 both sides. So then r must be equal to 27ths, which is the same as 2 sevenths, which is 14, with 6 left over. So 2 and 6 sevenths. And that's your answer. So you're going to go over here and you're going to put 2 space 6/7, and that's it. Okay. For the next one, you're going to do the same exact process. So let me just kind of move this up. Boop. And we'll make some room. This one is going to be 10 ninths. So 10 ninths is equal to 3 over q. Now, you might be looking at 3 and 9 saying, oh, yay, compatible. It doesn't work that way. Relationship has to be across the top, across the bottom, or on the left side, top to bottom to top, doesn't matter as long as you're consistent, or on the right side, top to bottom to top. I don't see any easy relationships here, so the next thing you're going to do is the cross product. So the cross product is going to be 10q is equal to 3 times 9. There's no compatibility here in terms of numbers that I'm working with, so I'm just going to say that 10q now is equal to 27. And then divide by 10 both sides, and you get your answer. So q will be equal to 2.7. Because when you divide by 10, you just move the decimal one place to the left. So there's your answer. Let's do the next one. The next one is n over 8. N over 8 is equal to 11 over 5. Once again, I don't see any relationships that are very easy to work with here. So then, if you don't see a relationship, just do the cross product. That's it. So what are you going to get? You're going to get 5 times n is equal to 8 times 11. Are any of these numbers compatible? Not really. So then you're just going to do 5n is equal to 88. You're going to then divide both sides by 5. And what I like to do when I divide by 5, actually, it's kind of funny. I like to just double top and bottom, so it's over 10, then move the decimal 1 to the left. So I would just double 88 and get 160 plus 16, which is 176. So I know it's going to be 176 over 10, which is the same as what? 17.6. So that's the way I would solve that. So 17.6. And then we're going to do the next one. Let's scooch this up here. There we go. And now we're going to get 8 over 3 is equal to 12 over n. Okay? So once again, you can't cancel these. Don't think it's multiplication. It's not. This is the ratio on the left is equal to the ratio on the right. So what you got to do here is you got to look for relationships. I don't really see any easy relationship. I can see that 8 and 12 are kind of related to each other, right? That 8 times 3 halves is 12, and 12 divided by 3 halves is 8. So I could do 3 times 3 halves and get the answer. 3 times 3 halves would be 9 halves, or 4.5. That's one way to do it. But I think it's easier for you guys just to rely on the cross product in this case if you don't see an easy relationship. So just do that. 8 times n is equal to 12 times 3. Now, in the previous problems, I said look for compatibility. In this case, you do have compatibility because I can see that 12 and 8 are going to eventually have some compatibility there. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8 before I multiply. And then advantage of that is now that I can simplify this, right? I can say that 12 and 8 are both compatible with 4. 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And now it becomes exactly what I talked about before. 3 times 3 is 9 all over 2. 9 over 2 is 4.5. So the answer there is going to be 4 and 1/2. Or 4.5. Same thing. All right, the next relationship we have here is k over 6 is equal to 4 over 3. This is like a gift because they have a nice, easy relationship for us to work with. K over 6 is equal to 4 over 3. We can see a relationship across the bottom here. So we know that 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So that means that 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. And so just pick the direction you want to go here. We want to go from this one to this one, right? So we want to go this way. So that means it's going to be that 4 times 2 is equal to k. So k divided by 2 would equal 4, and 4 times 2 equals k. So what is 4 times 2? 8. So 8 over 6 is the same as 4 over 3. And that makes sense because it makes total sense, right? You probably look at that and say, oh yeah, 8 over 6 is the same as 4 over 3. I can just tell. And watch the cross product there just to check it. What's 8 times 3? 24. What's 6 times 4? 24. Is 24 equal to 24? Yes. So ultimately, we can see that that answer is very simple, and it is just 8. So what is k equal to? 8. And then we go to the next one, and this is where I'm going to have to erase some space here. Bye-bye stuff. And we're going to do this one again. All right, so this time we've got a relationship, and the relationship we're looking at is 8 over 9 is equal to 12 over p. Once again, I see that this is 2 and this is 3. Basically, if 4 is I'm talking about 2 times 4 and 3 times 4. So you could think of it as 8 times 3 halves equals 12, and 12 divided by 3 halves equals 8. But more than likely in this situation, you wouldn't say you easily saw a relationship, so you just do the cross product. So once again, this becomes 8p is equal to 12 times 9. I would not multiply this yet. I would divide both sides by 8 because I see some compatibility. And then I would divide 12 and 8 both by 4. I get 2 and 3 once again. So ultimately the answer is going to be that p is equal to 27 over 2. And what is half of 27? Half of 20 is 10. Half of 7 is 3.5. So put it together, what do you get? 13.5. So the correct answer would be 13.5. Let me put that in again. And that would be how you do it. And that's how you solve proportions. Use a cross product. Make your life easy.